Hello and welcome to Turbo Delphi Demos. I'm Nick Hodges, the Delphi Product Manager, and I'm here to show you today a demo of how strings work, the basics of how strings work in Delphi. And as with the past couple of demos that I've done, I'm going to start up a new project, a new console application, and again we'll just work right here in the main block of a console application and just simply output information to the console or the DOS box. I remember way back when I was first learning to program in Turbo Pascal for Windows 1.0 and subsequently 1.5. One of the first things I ended up wanting to do was be able to manipulate strings, and strings are actually a very important data type inside of any programming language, really, because of course reading text is a vital part of almost any application, and dealing with strings is how you display and deal with and manipulate text inside of any application. So I'm going to declare a few variables. First of all, I'm going to just declare a string of type string. Then I'm going to declare an SS, which is a short string, and then I'm going to declare a char as well. And those are the three basic data types that we'll be looking at today and dealing with them and in this demo. Now the first one is a string, and in Pascal, a string is any series of characters wrapped up in single quotes. Notice single quotes, not double quotes. These are double quotes. Pascal strings are defined by single quotes, and so I can type inside the single quotes, this is a string, and I've declared a variable of type string. Now just for fun, I'm going to declare a bunch of other strings here, just so we can do a little string manipulation, if you will. And then I can declare string S1 as S1 gets, and this is another string, like so. So I've declared two strings. Now, if I wanted to concatenate, or in other words, add those strings together, Delphi gives you a very easy way to do that using the standard plus sign. I can say S plus S1 means S2, and then if I write len out to the console S2, put my read len here so the console will stop and wait for an enter, save the program, run it, you'll notice now that I get a string called, this is a string and this is another string. They're all concatenated, they're added together into a single string. Now Delphi strings can be of any length up to, I believe, 2 gigabytes. There's probably ways to manipulate it up higher than that, but 2 gigabytes of text is an awful lot of text, probably more than you'll ever want to deal with, really. But strings can hold from 0 characters all the way up to 2 gigabytes worth of text. And that's pretty powerful. You can add them together. You can print them out in any place that a string is required in a parameter for a function. You can pass them in as regular old strings. Now the second variable type we look at here is a short string. Now a short string is a reference to the old style Pascal strings from before the days of 32-bit Delphi. And that is a string, if you recall from maybe your Pascal days in college or whenever, that is a string that is 255 characters in length, and it can be referenced as an array of characters. So for instance, I can say SS is equal to, and I can provide here any string. This is a short string, and then if I want to, I can simply write out SS, and you'll notice that it'll work just like regular strings. There it is. This is a short string. Now, as I said before, short strings work slightly differently than regular strings do, in that they're limited to 255 characters. They also have an interesting characteristic in that they can be indexed. Or, well, let me take that back. Let me start first by saying all strings in Pascal can be indexed. Any string in Pascal can be indexed, and you can pick out any particular character within the string by using the array index. and we haven't talked about array indexes yet, but it should be fairly intuitive to you, that if I want to draw out the first character, I can use these square brackets here, and I can grab the first character of the string S, and then that will be stuck into the variable C, which is of type char. Some people say char, I say char. Now the char type, is a character, a single character, a single byte of a string, and that you can use and manipulate. And of course, the subarray function here of the string returns the first character. So now if I come and grab this code here, put it down here, and substitute that for SS, I put C. If I save this and now run the application, you'll notice that the letter T is output to the console because T is the first character of the string. Okay, now there are sometimes you want to do certain manipulations or find out particular pieces of information about a string, for instance, its length. With long strings, I'm going to declare a variable up here type len, type integer called len, and I can say for long strings, for regular strings, ANSI strings they're called, they're just strings, you need to use the length function. And we'll go ahead and grab the length of S, and we can write line that out as well, and you'll notice that it'll be, I don't know, what, 11 or 12 there. We'll see here in a minute. It'll run in 16. There's 16 characters, and this is a string. It's 16 characters. Now, for a short string, you can actually index the 0th character of the string. I can use that to grab the length of the short string. It holds the value of the short string, the length of the short string, in the 0th character. And I actually have to use the ORD function here to pull it out because this returns a char that holds the value of the length. But I'll call ORD and it'll return an integer for me telling me how long the string is. So now if I run it, you'll see the first string is 16 characters long, and the short string slightly longer. You can see it's obviously 5 characters longer. It's 21. Now, as a general rule, the short strings are used basically for backwards compatibility. For almost all the uses within your Delphi programs, you'll probably want to just use the regular old string type. Now, it may be, in addition, that there are times when you want to grab a chunk of a specific string. To do that, you use the copy function. So in this case, we'll say S3 gets the value of the copy function. The copy function is a function that returns a string, and we'll take in as our first parameter the string itself that we want to copy from, and then the next parameter is the index of the string, the first character of the string that we want to grab. So in this case, let's grab the word this out of S, and so the index of that is 1, and then the final parameter, as you can see from the code insight here, is the number of characters that want to be taken. So we want to grab 4 characters. So now we have S3 will hold the word this, and we can see that working by running the application. You'll see it grabs the word this. Okay, now strings have a few little quirks to them, or little things you need to worry about. For instance, what if I wanted to have this as a string value? I wanted to open the car and I say, I can't do that. Now you'll notice by the error insight here and the syntax highlighting, you can tell that there's something wrong there, that's not correct, and in fact, if I tried to compile this, I would get a compiler error saying that there's an operator semicolon because of this apostrophe inside of can't. Well, in order to insert an apostrophe inside a string, all you need to do is just put 2 strings to get 2 apostrophes, or 2 apostrophes, they're actually single quotes inside the quote itself. and you'll end up with a single string that has a single apostrophe. In this case, it's an apostrophe in it. We'll run it and you can see that working. There's the apostrophe there. So okay, that covers the basics of strings. You can assign values, literal values. These are literal values to strings. You can concatenate or add strings together. You can pick out chunks of strings using the copy statement, and you can manipulate strings at the character level by grabbing an indexed value of any particular character inside of the string. And you can also use the character type to hold single character strings representing the various characters inside an ANSI string or character table. So that wraps up another edition of Turbo Delphi Demos.